Hey everybody, this is quiz 4, which will serve as your practice exam for exam 4. And let's go ahead and get started. So for problem number 1, we have an exponent problem. And before we get going on this one, I'm going to reduce that fraction first. You don't have to, it just to me makes it easier in the end. And then what I'd like to do is take care of that exponent on the outside. So this exponent is going to get multiplied to all 5 of these exponents. Remember that that's 3 to the first power. And now I'm going to move that 3 to the negative first up, which is 3 to the first power. Here I'm going to subtract. I've got to be careful. This is x to the 8 minus negative 2. And this is y to the 7 minus 10 power. So when you're dividing, you're subtracting. Almost done, but not quite. I have a negative exponent here. And of course, I need to move that down now. And that is about as simplified as that can be. Double check. Yeah. Problem 2. We have 3a to the second, b to the 5th, c to the 3rd, all squared. And here we have 2, a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c to the 2nd, to the 3rd power. And everybody in here, all their exponents are going to get multiplied by 2, and all the exponents in here are going to get multiplied by 3. And you can see. So I'm going to move the numbers to the front. 3 to the second is 9. 2 to the third is 8. 9 times 8 is 72. A to the 4th times a to the 15th, I'm going to add the exponents. 4 plus 15 is 19. B to the 10th times b to the 9th, I'm going to add the exponents to get, again, b to the 19th. And then c to the 6th times c to the 6th is c to the 12th. All right. Problem 3 is we have a polynomial. This is a 4th degree polynomial. I know that because the largest exponent is 4. And they have everything kind of mixed up here, but they want to know specifically at x equals 2, what is the value going to be? So I'm going to follow my order of operations here very carefully. So even though I have parentheses, there's nothing to do in the parentheses. So what I'm going to do is go for the exponents. 2 to the 4th is 16. 2 to the third is 8. 6 times 2 is 12. And 2 squared, of course, is 4. Next up, I'm going to multiply 7 times 16. You could do it by hand. I have a calculator handy right here. Negative 112. 8 times 8 is 64. 7 times 4 is 28. And I'm just going to sweep that. Negative 112 plus 8 plus 64 plus 12 minus 28. Giving me negative 56. Very nice. Okay. Let's scoot this up. We have x to the 5th minus 10x squared plus 5x minus negative 4x to the 5th plus 9x squared plus 7. Now, you may have different numbers than what I have, and that's fine. Again, your number 4 is most likely going to be similar, although I think I shuffled the order as well. So your number 4 may be your number 7, my number 7, or something like that. So now here I got to remember to distribute the negative to everybody in this set of parentheses only. Again, notice all the signs changed. Now I'm going to combine up my like terms. So I'm going to notice those two are the same. Those two are like terms. And the rest of these, the 5x and the 7, are not like terms, so they don't combine up. So 1x to the 5th plus 4x to the 5th, that is 5x to the 5th. Minus 19x squared. Again, this is the result of the green. And this is the result of the blue. Plus x minus 7. And again, these don't combine up. They're not like terms. I'm going to try to squeeze number 5 down here. Let's just save some paper. This one doesn't take very much work. So now we're multiplying. Now, an easy mistake that students often make is they'll distribute that 2 to square just the 4w and the negative 5. That's not right. We're going to have to actually FOIL this. There's a formula that you could use, but if you don't know the formula right now, we will definitely use it later in the semester. So I'm going to perform FOIL. FOIL, again, is the first terms I'm going to multiply, the outer terms I'm going to multiply, the inner terms I'm going to multiply, and the last terms I'm going to multiply. So 4w is 16w squared. Negative 5 times 4w is minus 20w. Negative 5 times 4w is minus 20w. And negative 5 times negative 5 is plus 25. And combining my like terms, gets me there. All right, we're moving on. Number 6. And here we're going to apply the distributive property. And remember, when you multiply bases, these should all be x's. I don't know where I'm getting w from. Getting old. So 30x x to the 6th, you add the exponents, 4 plus 2 gives you the 6. 6 times 2 is 12, that's x to the 1st. So that's going to be x to the 4 plus 1, which is 5th power. And here I'm going to get 6 times 4 is 24, x to the 4th power. There's our distributive property. Number 7, I have 36 z to the 13th plus 9 z to the 11th plus 36 z to the 7th all over 9z to the 3rd. And I'm going to change colors because my black pen isn't working. We are going to break this up into 3 separate fractions. You'll notice the denominator is the same for all 3. And now I'm going to reduce each of these. 36 over 9 is 4. When you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. That's z to the 10th. 9 over 9 is just 1. So z to the 11th over z to the 3rd, we subtract the exponents. That's going to be z to the 8th. 36 over 9 is 4. Exponents. Number 8. Here we're going to be doing long division. Use my green pen for this part. Now I need something times x to give me x to the 3rd power. That's going to be x squared. And now I'm going to distribute x squared times x is x to the 3rd. Minus 4x squared. Now I'm going to subtract. Now these two should always go away. X to the 3rd minus x to the 3rd, that should always be 0 there. Got to be really careful here. Negative 6x squared minus minus, that becomes plus 4x squared. So that gives me a negative 2x squared. Bring down the 16x. Start again. I need something times x to give me negative 2x squared. That's going to be minus 2x. Be careful, I'm distributing a negative, it'll change both signs. Once again, I'm subtracting, so negative 2x minus plus 2x squared, these go away, as they should every time. 16x minus 8x, 8x. Let's do this one more time. I need something times x to give me 8x, that's going to be a positive 8. Remember to just add 8 to both. 8x minus 8x, again, I get a 0 there. Negative 37 minus minus, that becomes plus 32, that gives me a negative 5. So this tells me that the is x squared minus 2x plus 8, and the remainder is negative 5. And these are your answers. And number 9. We're looking to pull up the greatest common factor. Remember, we're limited by the least amount that we can equally take from everybody. In this case, that's going to be the x squared, as well as a 2, it looks like. So I'm kind of dividing, as it were. So I'm subtracting the exponents. Plus, we already pulled the 2 out. We're just left with an x there. And the x squared has already come out. So that is it. That's the whole everything. Number 10. We're asked to factor completely. Now, you can see those are the coefficients. These are the numbers that are in front of the letters, or the variables. The number in front of the z squared is a 1. The number in front of the z is a 2. And the last coefficient is a negative 48. So the way I teach it is I teach the diamond. Negative 48 times 1 goes up front. Down below goes 2. And I need 2 numbers that when I multiply, I get negative 48. And when I add, I get positive 2. I think that's going to be 8 and negative 6. That's the difference of 2. And when I multiply, I get negative 48. And what that's going to do is split open my middle part here. There are other ways. Other teachers teach this very differently. There's the guess and check method. There's all sorts of method. Even my wife uses a different method to do this. But I'm going to factor by grouping here. Remember, it always initially starts with a plus in between. That's going to change here in a second. Here I'm going to factor out a negative 6. When you factor a negative out, both signs change, so just be extra careful. And I'm going to notice that I have a z plus 8 and a z plus 8. Pull that out as a common factor. And I'm left with z minus 6. Now, there are faster and other ways to do this. I'm aware of that. This is the way that I chose to do this particular one. And for our last problem, we have an equation. We need top of the page for this one. Number 11. What I'm going to have to do first with my equation is get it equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 4x and the negative 2 to the other side by subtracting the 4x and adding the 2. Four x minus x is minus 5x. And now I have a proper quadratic equation. Again, I'm going to set it up so that I do the 3 times the 2 goes up top, that's 6, and the 5 goes down below. Now I need 2 numbers that when I multiply, positive 6, and when I add, I get negative 5. That'll be negative 3 and negative 2. And that's going to split that open there into 2 pieces. So in front, I have 3x squared minus 3x, there's the minus 3, plus negative 2x plus 2. So there's my negative 3x minus 2x to give me my negative 5x. But I'm going to factor this by grouping. I'm going to pull 3x out here. And a negative 2 there, because that's a negative there. And notice both signs change. And now I have in common an x minus 2, or x minus 1, pardon me. And now I'm going to use my zero product property. Come up here. X minus 1 equals 0. 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now I have two nice little easy linear equations to solve. Here's one of my two solutions. My second solution is x equals 2/3. And that's how you do it. Thanks for watching. Take care.